Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insights in Caribbean Intellectual Property, the official podcast of the Caribbean and America's Intellectual Property Organization. I am your host, Chris Benjamin, along with Alice Richards. Today, we will be looking at the intellectual property law and policy situation in Guyana. Guyana was one of the founding nations of the Caribbean community back in 1973, and interestingly, though it is located on the Atlantic coast of mainland South America, because of its history as a colony of the British Empire, it is the only English-speaking country in South America and is aligned with Caribbean culture. That's a little history for you. Today's topic is Innovation Unleashed, Guyana's surprising creative evolution. Innovation thrives in the most unexpected places. And today's story from Guyana completely shatters everything we thought we knew about intellectual property laws and creativity.
You know what's fascinating about this? A groundbreaking study across 4 Caribbean nations just revealed something that defies all conventional wisdom about innovation.
Let me break this down. Between 2013 and 2017, social scientist and IP researcher in law and policy, Dr. Abiola Inniss, examined how intellectual property laws affected innovation in Guyana, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica. The results were completely unexpected.
Tell me more about what she discovered.
Well, here's the shocking part. In 3 countries with strong intellectual property laws and enforcement, companies were actually hesitant to innovate. But in Guyana, where IP laws are practically non-existent, they found the highest levels of homegrown innovation.
That's like discovering the most productive garden is the one that's never been tended. But why does this matter right now?
It's particularly crucial because Guyana just discovered major oil reserves. We're talking about potentially transformative wealth. Estimates suggest their GDP could grow by 300% in the next decade. The question is, how do they protect their natural innovation while building for the future?
So they're essentially trying to build a modern innovation ecosystem from scratch while preserving what already works.
Exactly. So Dr. Abiola Inniss has outlined this fascinating 5-stage plan. Think of it like building a high-tech greenhouse around a thriving wild garden. The first stage is what she describes as the creation strategy. It's not just about throwing money at schools, but creating this whole ecosystem of research institutes and international partnerships.
That reminds me of how South Korea transformed their economy in the 1980s. They invested heavily in research and development while building strong international connections.
Right. And here's what makes Guyana's situation unique. They're already innovating without formal structures. It's like they've discovered a natural spring of creativity, and now they need to figure out how to channel it without damming it up.
Well, that brings us to the controversial part, the international agreements like TRIPS. How does that factor in?
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. TRIPS, the trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights agreement, is like this double-edged sword. Some experts argue it's essential for protecting innovation, while others say it actually stifles creativity in developing nations.
You know what's fascinating about that? It's similar to what happened in India's pharmaceutical industry before and after TRIPS.
Let me expand on that point. Before TRIPS, India was known as the pharmacy of the developing world because they could produce generic medications affordably. After TRIPS, well, that's where Guyana needs to be careful about balancing protection with access.
So what's Dr. Innes' solution for managing this balance?
She is proposing something pretty innovative. Stages 3 and 4 focus on building infrastructure for IP exploitation while simultaneously developing human resources. It's like they're constructing the railroad while the train is already moving.
That must create some unique challenges.
Well, here's the thing. They need to train patent examiners, create copyright registries, and implement blockchain technology for IP management, all while making sure to encourage and elevate innovation that's already happening. It would be a huge, finely tuned operation that benefits creative and economic endeavors at the same time.
And all of this needs to happen against the backdrop of their oil discovery.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really crucial. Studies show that countries with natural resource discoveries often fall into what economists call the resource curse, where they focus so much on the resource that other sectors of the economy actually decline. Venezuela's GDP dropped 75% between 2013 and 2021, despite having the world's largest oil reserves.
That's a sobering statistic. How does the proposal by Dr. Inniss fit into a scheme to avoid that fate?
You know what's fascinating? It takes this really unique approach. Instead of just focusing on oil infrastructure, she proposes that they use the anticipated revenue to build this comprehensive innovation ecosystem. It's like using the treasure you found to build a sustainable farm instead of just buying fancy furniture.
That's such an interesting way to look at it.
And here's the kicker. What we're seeing in Guyana could completely change how we think about innovation in developing nations. The data suggests that sometimes less regulation actually leads to more creativity, but you need the right structures to help that creativity thrive and scale.
Well, that certainly challenges everything we thought we knew about intellectual property and innovation.
Looking ahead, this could be a fascinating case study for other developing nations. The key will be watching how Guyana manages to preserve and promote their natural innovation while building the frameworks needed for modern economic growth. Until next time, keep looking for innovation in unexpected places. Sometimes the most remarkable developments happen where you least expect them. Thanks for joining us today on this edition of Insights in Caribbean Intellectual Property. Do follow us on our Facebook page and visit our website at www.caaipo.org. Please tune in again for the next podcast.